Abandoned quarantine software costing the government a pretty penny, the Town Center Mall lease agreement laid in the House of Assembly, and another F&M MP throws their hat in the party's leadership race. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leah Cooper with your JCN News for this Thursday, November 4th. It's costing the government more than $800,000 a year to house the General Post Office at the Town Center Mall. The lease agreement was laid bare in the House of Assembly this morning by the Minister with Responsibility, JoBeth Kobe Davis, who noted that it was something that the Bahamian people have been asking for some time. In October of 2018, a resolution was passed in Parliament for the government to enter that lease agreement with the owners of the mall.
A brief review of the facts will indicate the government is to pay rent at $632,952 per annum, and that at $75,954.24 per annum. The lease further stipulates that additional rent for the improvement of the premises are to be paid at the rate of $500,000 plus interest over 60 months, 5 years, which equals $111,177.36 per annum. Adding up the annual rent, VAT, and additional annual rent due, the government payout as estimated to be $820,083.60 each year for the use of the Town Center Mall.
Minister Kobe Davis also revealing that the government is responsible for the utility bills, including all connection fees, as well as property and personal injury insurance.
The government is paying $500,000 to upgrade and improve the property, and the lease agreement stipulates that the government may also have to pay for the premises to be returned to its original state when the lease ends. The government would also have to pay any associated legal fees if litigation arises. The lease is binding for 5 years until the 28th of February 2024. Even if the government were to find a more suitable and cost-effective location, due to concerns about duplicated costs and the amounts already expended, we would not be able to move forward at this time. Those are the facts.
When the former minister-led administration revealed its intent to relocate the General Post Office from its East Hill Street location to the Town Center Mall, it was met with much criticism from the then opposition, the Progressive Liberal Party, as conflict of interest claims surfaced against the then St. Anne's MP Brent Simonet. It was revealed that Mr. Simonet had shares in the mall. The lease agreement for the Town Center Mall at the time was the backdrop of the opposition's no confidence motion against Dr. Hubert Minnis in 2019. Tension rising in the House of Assembly yesterday as a war of words ensued between Central Grand Bahama MP Iram Lewis and House Speaker Patricia DeVoe. Mr. Lewis contends that the Speaker wasn't fair in her discretion to allow members to speak over the 30-minute mark in the debate on the speech from the throne. You see, Minister of State for Education Zane Lightbourne was delivering his contribution to debate as the bell rang to indicate his 30-minute window to speak had passed. Mr. Lightbourne, however, continued to speak without requesting extra time. The same thing happened in the morning session, with Long Island MP Adrian Gibson. However, upon requesting extra time, the Speaker did not grant it. On a point of order, the Central Grand Bahama MP says this.
One of our members this morning asked for an extension of time. He was denied. The clock went off, and the member still on the floor. That can't happen, Madam Speaker. That's not fair. There's no request made, and there's no permission given. Why is he continuing? Are we going to get the same privilege moving forward?
Honorable Member for Central Grand Bahama, he was wrapping up. Are you asking me to do the job of this chair? Or are you asking...
Speaker, I'm asking you to be fair, Madam Speaker, to be fair. A member asked for permission. The clock went off. You say you get no additional time. If the clock went off, there's no request made for an extension of time. There's this question. Okay, that's fine. Oh, so the government have his way. But the opposition will have to say, no, it's not fair. It is not fair. So the discretion today was to deny Long Island from speaking. And you're allowing Yamakor to carry on. It is wrong.
Should I stand?
You're in charge of the House, Madam Speaker.
Well, Well,
You're in charge of the House.
thank you.
That would be fair.
Are you telling me how to do my job as the chair?
If it's along the line of being fair, yes.
Following that exchange of words, the speaker allowed Mr. Lightbourne to wrap up. Now, our news team reached out to former House Speaker Halsey Moultrie to find out his views on the matter, and he says the speaker was well within her rights.
It must be understood that the Speaker is the judge of the High Court of Parliament, and that the Speaker discretion is unfettered. It is not proper for any member of Parliament to question the Speaker's ruling. The rules provide for a substantive motion to be brought if you are not pleased with the ruling of the chair. And so it is not proper, first of all, for any member to decide that because one member was denied an extension, it was improper for the Speaker to grant an extension to another member. That is not the concern of the member. The Speaker exercises that discretion.
He adds that this is why there needs to be a speaker that's truly independent.
Because no matter what the Speaker does, the opposition will paint a picture and sell a narrative that the Speaker is being unfair to them, that the Speaker is an agent of the majority party. And there's no getting around that. And so what we need to do in this country is to first of all understand that the Speaker is more than just a referee in these proceedings. The Speaker has a constitutional responsibility to maintain the relationship between the executive branch of government and the judicial and the legislative branch of government.
Now, upon coming to office, the Bambootown MP pledged that the business of the House will be carried out in a respectful and unbiased manner. National Security Minister Wayne Munro told reporters that the government is paying some $7,000 per month for tracking software and devices to monitor quarantined individuals infected with COVID-19. He made this revelation during the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing this afternoon.
The past administration was spending public funds for a product that was designed to track people and ensure that they stay in quarantine, and they chose not to use it for whatever reason. Well, the contract is with the Ministry of National Security. As far as I'm aware, the products are in country. They were just never designated to say.
In May of 2020, the government signed a contract for the Hubcat system. Minister Munro adds that the system was since abandoned for another tracking system.
What is in effect a tagging system where there would be a little tag, almost like what you see at the hotels, put on the individual. There would be a base set, and if the tag moved out of the base set, it would be an alarm, and the person would be geo-tagged to an area in which they were to quarantine. It seems to be a useful product. The Minister of Health, Dr. Darwell, is keen in using it, and we expect shortly to at least roll out and use the 100 units that we pay $7,000 some a month for.
And according to the minister, that contract expires in 2022. Forward United, that's Marco City MP Michael Pintard's slogan as he officially launched his campaign vying for leader of the Free National Movement Party when the party has its convention this month. In his speech delivered to dozens of F&M supporters, including the likes of former Deputy House Speaker Don Saunders, former Baines and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson, former West Grand Bahama and Bimini MP Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, and former F&M candidate Heather Hunt, Mr. Pintard spoke to his intentions to unite the party once again.
The point is, we regularly need to refresh the organization, embracing the new without alienating the veterans. Not only can we coexist, we must coexist. So it really doesn't matter if you were pre-92 FNM or post-92. It didn't matter if you came from a neutral place, an independent voter, or you were PLP before. You with us now, you still family. We are embracing all of those who wish to cast their lot with us.
The MP and former cabinet minister also urged members to shake up the status quo, adding that the party needs leadership that sees the differences of opinions as a strength and not a weakness.
Some days we are not right. And because you're biding your time, because you're hoping for a nomination later, and you don't want to rub so-and-so the wrong way. You don't want to misspeak. Because nomination day coming 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And so we're going into rooms where important meetings are being held. And the real us are not showing up. Instead, we are censoring ourselves to give a sanitized version of the idea that God has planted in us. Because we believe some people can't handle what we're about to say. And there are repercussions if they can't. And all I'm saying, if you would have me, I want to be the kind of leader that want the best ideas, even if it's inelegantly delivered, even if you're hot under the collar one day, because we could fix that later.
Mr. Pintard adds that he intends to create a Bahamas where the country's youth can thrive, where women are empowered, and where seniors are valued and respected. The party's convention is slated for Saturday, November 27th. Along with Mr. Pintard, Central Grand Bahama MP Iram Lewis and East Grand Bahama MP Kwesi Thompson have thrown their hats in the race for leadership. St. Barnabas MP Shannon Cartwright is also anticipating running for a leadership role. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.